Dutton, PA. We are here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Google Hangout with Andy Potts, Milay Galvez from Kestrel Bikes, and Jim Ruther as well from Kestrel Bikes. And we have Andy Potts with us here today. Hi, Andy.
Hey, gang. How's it going?
It's great to have you here after the amazing result that you had in Kona. So we had a lot of questions about, of course, that particular race and also about the whole season. You have had an amazing 2015 season, and we want you to talk about it. So let's start the conversation this afternoon with, of course, Kona. Tell us about how you felt when you finished that amazing race.
So when I crossed the finish line in Kona, I was just spent. I mean, it was everything I had on race day. I put it all out there. So when I crossed the line, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I've experienced it in the past where you give so much of yourself that you're actually devoid of emotion. And you put so much into it that it's hard to be happy, it's hard to be sad. You're just kind of like, I have to just keep moving and hopefully things will start to register. And you hear it from really when athletes are, as soon as they win a championship, whether it's in the sport of triathlon or we've got the World Series playoffs going on right now, you'll see the microphone get shoved right in front of an athlete's face and it's, how do you feel? Which isn't a bad question, but sometimes you get a really authentic moment that isn't necessarily one you want to transmit. What you get is you get a little bit of confusion because you're unsure about am I on cloud nine? Is this? This is kind of surreal. And we've been planning for something and now it's over because we just went through it. So that's kind of where I was at the finish line, and it wasn't confusing. It was just exhausting. And now that I've had more than a week to process it. I'm really happy that I was able to give my best. Number one. Number two is, fourth place isn't bad. I wanted more, but I would really have to take myself out to the shed out back and beat myself if I start downplaying my best. So it not only was it my best effort, but it was also my best preparation, and on top of that, it was my best finish. So, and the result. So the result was my best, the preparation, the mindset, the execution. It was everything I had. Do I have more to give? Yes. Was it everything I had on the day? Yes. So, big deep breath. It's okay. You didn't get what you want. You got what you need, and I'm happy. Totally long-winded response.
That's great. Well, congratulations, on your finish in fourth place.
Thank you.
What did you do differently from last year, and do you think it worked?
Okay, so in 2013, I went to the Big Island and prepared in the conditions. And I used all my knowledge, and we tried some new things that year. We tried riding longer main sets, race pace sets were longer, running off the bike was longer. And I didn't get the chance to race that year, but I used that knowledge, and I used it to 2014. And we didn't try too many new things from what we learned in 2013's prep. Even though we didn't get to execute 2013, we used the prep as the same. So after 2014, with the same preparation from 13, we learned a lot, and coming off of last year's race. So what we did is in November we started to tweak things and change preparation. And what that ended up doing is I ended up growing as an athlete. You gain experience, you gain maturity in the legs, and also like on a cellular level, like you help build mitochondria that sets the base floor, that sets the you're allowed to build off of, right? So I changed things for 2015 based off of what I learned from basically mid-August through the beginning of October in terms of my preparation in 2014. And that's all the information we used to prepare for every race this season. And then when it came time for Kona, I felt like we were at a different level. And we used that knowledge to hit the track once a week, really specific race running. And we also, my coach hopped on his bike and we would do long runs together. And then we also lengthened some of my long rides and on top of the longer rides, and then we lengthened some of the main sets as well. So we kind of added to the base that we set up starting in August of 13. That was a kind of a 2-year execution, and then in 15 we learned a ton for the past 8 weeks. And what I'm hoping for is to take that new knowledge from this 2015 Kona prep, apply it to 2016, and I'm looking forward to 2016 already.
Cool.
I know it's kind of early, but
cool. That is great, Andy. So getting out of the water first, you're famous for.
Right.
This year didn't happen, and our perspective is great. You raced perfectly, and you saved a lot of energy. Are you changing your strategy? Are you conserving energy and not leading the pack?
Yeah, so all my prep leading into the race was like it was really bike and run heavy, and I kind of used my swim experience to kind of get me through the water. I knew that I'd be fine. I didn't think I would swim. I've swum 47 minutes there. I knew I wasn't going to swim 47 minutes, but I knew I also wasn't going to swim slower than 50. So I swam like 50 minutes high, and I sat on feet the entire way. I didn't once have to, break headwater, and that was a huge advantage. I just followed bubbles. I didn't really do any spotting. Just follow bubbles, hang out, just watch fish, follow bubbles. I really didn't do anything on the swim, and it was awesome. And what I ended up doing, as soon as I stood up on the stairs, I actually got through T1 first and onto my bike first, because that to me, that was the start of my race. And so I wanted to get through T1 cleanly, efficiently, and I was able to do so, and that kind of set up my day really nicely. And the thing that made it even more advantageous for me was the water temp in Kona this year was 86. So if you've ever swum in 86-degree water, like, it's fun to play in. It's not fun to swim in. Like, you can go and throw the football and jump in the waves. That feels great. To go hammer 2.4 miles as hard as you can, it does not feel great. It really saps you unknowingly. So I was able to conserve a lot of energy, which I think played off into my favor on the bike.
Yeah, going into the bike, you had your best bike split in Kona this year. Do you think it was because of your swimming or your prep and training for the race? Or actually, was it not windy? Or like, what were the conditions like too, as well? Because that plays a factor into the bike as well. So
sometimes it's hard to look at splits and get a feel for the conditions. We had a lot of the same players in the race, and they didn't necessarily ride that. Some rode faster than they've ever ridden, and some rode slower. So I felt like we had a crosswind for the first 27 miles through Waikoloa, and then it eased off. And then we were pretty calm. We had some crosswinds heading up to Hawi, not terrible. I've definitely experienced worse. I mean, I was getting about, like, if I let go of my handlebars, I mean, I'd certainly be blown over, but it was about a 3-foot push, as opposed to, like, in years past, I've had like 5 to 8 foot swings where it's like a big gust. You're like, ooh, that was fun. With about 20 miles to go, that we started to experience a headwind. So it was a little windy. It's always hot. The thing that made this year a little bit different than in years past was no cloud cover for us at the front group all day. We had clear skies, which it makes it hotter, and the air wasn't moving as soon as we got onto our feet. So we didn't have that cooling effect on your bike. When you're going 23, 24 miles an hour average, the air that passes over you adds a cooling factor. I mean, it's a deterrent in terms of headwind and crosswind and like a medium to move through, but it's a benefit in terms of cooling your body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So prep was way better. Definitely learning things, and I feel like I can ride even better.
Nice.
That's great. So going into 2016, do you have a different strategy for the time on the bike, or you're going to continue with the strategy of 2015?
It's going to change because race dynamics change, and what people bring, like the athlete that they bring within themselves on race day, is in constant flux. So tactics are going to change, at least on the micro level. Maybe the macro level a little bit different. I think I personally need to prepare a little bit better for the last 12 miles. I felt like I rode really strong through 100, and 12 miles doesn't sound like that big a deal once if you're going to ride 100, what's 112? Well, I'll tell you what 112 is. 100 is 4 hours for me. 112 ended up, because I rode through 100 at like, I want to say 3 hours and 59 minutes or something, and 3:57, and the last 12 miles took me 35 minutes. So we had a headwind. We were all moving slower, but I wasn't moving through it as efficiently as I needed to. So I need to look at that last bit, the last piece of the puzzle there on the bike. I think will really help me. I started to hemorrhage a little bit of time, which for my day ended up being the difference maker.
You go.
Yeah. What are you using for your nutrition for that race? Were you using the aid stations, or did you carry everything with you as needed?
Well, good question. I carried as much as feasible, especially on the bike. Bike was fully loaded when I hopped on. Small mishap with my aero bottle cost me a little bit, but hopefully it was inconsequential. I picked up my special needs, which had exactly what I wanted. It was just a bottle, but it was what I wanted in it. And then I used each aid station. Priority number 1 for the aid station was cooling off, and priority number 2 was fuel, because I felt like I had enough fuel on board. So priority 1 is cool off. Priority 2 was fill in any gaps nutritionally on the bike. And then on the run, in Kona, it may not be known to everybody, but in Kona, the professionals, we're allowed to have our own aid stations in addition to the general aid stations. So what I did is I said, okay, at the professional aid stations, which there are 6 of, I prepared my own bottles, and I used the general aid stations as cooling off. So that was priority 1, was my nutrition at the aid stations, and they take them right out before you, so they're nice and cool. And then the follow-up was at the general aid stations, it was sponges, ice, water. Ice went in, sponges went on my face, and then water, just dump it on my head.
Cool.
Lots of water on my head.
Just to follow up on nutrition, so there always is the question that you have muffins the morning of the race, and how do you prepare? How do you prepare for nutritionally for this race, the days prior to the race, etc. And and of course, muffins are very famous because are Lisa's muffin.
So here's the deal with nutrition. I've experimented in the past with changing my nutrition leading into the race, where I try to remove a lot of the like you keep it like you kind of. I have a high carb diet just because of what I do, but you keep the protein to diet carb ratio in the mix. But in the past, I've experimented with pulling out all fiber from my diet, so things solidify a little bit in my gut, and it was too much of a departure from what I'm used to, and because of that, it kind of goofed with me. So this time around, I stuck with my normal diet. I mean, I didn't go super fiber heavy. If I had options, I would kind of opt out of fiber a little bit. Like I stopped eating Raisin Bran, but for the most part, I didn't change my lead-up diet, and I did have to do a bathroom break. But I mean, of the 2,000 competitors, there's probably like 20 that don't use a bathroom break. So I didn't think it would be that big a deal going to the bathroom, especially because of the relief you feel. You can actually end up running faster because like pressure builds up and you're able to relieve yourself, and then you're like, wow, I feel like me. I feel kind of normal, and then you run good for about 6 miles. And so the night before, I had like a pasta with some veggies and grilled chicken. Nothing special. With lots of salt. I kind of amped up my salt intake about 3 days before, and then race morning, super antsy. It's early too. It's like 4 a.m. I think I had like a muffin and a half. It's really hard to get food down just because you're like, this is it. This is what I'm training for. This is it, and you're not thinking about food. You feel like you ever have I've got kids, and my kids, they don't think about food. They think food is like it's a distraction to go sit at the table and eat, and they don't really see the importance of it until they melt down, and you're like, why are you melting down? Because you didn't have breakfast. Let's go eat. So sometimes I force myself to have. I probably forced. I wanted to have about a half muffin, and I forced a whole nother one down.
They work out well for you.
Worked out just fine.
Okay. So we all know that you want to finish on the podium, but can you explain to us, or let us know how your Kona performance matched up to your Kona goals?
All right. So my Kona goals, I was actually pretty close. I wanted to go faster, just strictly time speaking, but times don't necessarily matter in triathlon like they matter in track and they matter in swimming. Triathlon is a lot closer to cycling than it is to its swimming and track brothers in that regard. So I had general time goals. I was pretty close actually on 2 of them. The run was slower than I wanted to. I thought I was going to run quicker, and but we all ran slow. So this is all relative. So I had expectations. I wanted to get off the bike in the top 6. I think I was like 11th getting off, which just makes my day harder. It's like, okay, how many people do I need to move through? The fewer people you have to move through, theoretically, it's easier. Then again, like there was always a carrot right up the road that I could run down. I came off the bike with Andy Raylert. He ended up getting second, so it's not like I couldn't have run into it. I play mean games to myself. You should have done this, but it's not like I tried hard. It wasn't like I didn't try.
Right.
Yeah. So my goals, I mean, I don't need to make them public, but I was close.
Okay. Good. Well, thanks.
Thank you. So we look forward to discover the secret of it all.
There's no secrets, really. There's really no
I
secrets.
know you want to win.
Yeah.
What would you say the high point of the race is besides finishing?
Yeah, that's a good question. High points for me, coming down the chute, no matter what place you're in, you really accomplished something really special, getting to the finish at the Ironman World Championships. My dad was right in the line in the chute right before I went in. I was able to high-five him. My kids were at the line with my wife. I got a really nice embrace. Certainly highlights. The week after, not being the center of attention is certainly a highlight for me. Actually, in the race, I thought I handled the ups and downs really nicely. And I'm not talking about undulations in the course. I'm talking about like, you ride with momentum and you move past people, and it's like, I'm riding well, and then all of a sudden you get repassed, and it's like, well, am I going to get popped? What's going wrong? And then things just, there's so much. It's so dynamic, the course, the ebbs and flows of it, and I thought I handled that really nicely. I was able to stay focused all day long. I didn't once ever think I was out of it. When I was in the energy lab, I thought I passed Jan going one way and I was coming the other, and there was a chopper that kind of descended right down on top of us. And the gap wasn't unreachable, but I was like, okay, the gap is pretty big. There's 7 miles left. I don't think I'm going to take out 40 seconds a mile, but the gap to second and third and fourth at that time, because I was in fifth, it was totally manageable. I was like, all right, hit the afterburners, stay focused, and I gave myself a chance all the way up until the chute. So that's a highlight for sure, because there are previous races where you give so much of yourself and you find yourself so invested in the day and in the outcome that you lose perspective of the physical, of the now, of the being. So you're projecting, and when you project, you take yourself out of the moment, and when you do that, you have a tendency to lose focus, and if the chips are down, you can lose. It's not just losing focus that's a bad thing. You lose the ability to want, and you lose desire, and that's dangerous. So I was desirous all the way up to the line, which is super encouraging. That tells me my nutrition was right too. I had good mind-body communication.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that is excellent. Obviously, the results that you had, and not only in Kona, the whole season. It has been an amazing 2015, Andy. Every year is better for you. Tell us about 2015. Take us, are you happy with this year? We are.
Yeah. All right. So the year ended with a 4th place finish. I I don't really necessarily enjoy finishing fourth, but I've always said that the rest of the world's pretty good, and I'm not unhappy with it. So I raced 8 other times this year, and I was 50-50 split on first and second. And I actually look at the second. I finished second place 4 times this year, and I look at them and I'm thinking to myself, what did I give away? Where can how do I gain an edge there and then? And I'm pretty critical, and I think to myself, you got the desired result 4 times. Well, why not the other 5 times? I'm not haunted by them, but I do look at them critically, and I try to learn from them. So I've got a good plan for how to. Every race got my best, and I progressed as the season went along. I felt I was flat probably during 2 races, and those 2 races I was like, oh, this is why this is the day you need to fight. None of it is going to be easy, but those 2 races the result was pretty good too. So
pretty good year, and congratulations for that. We want to thank you again for your time, and thank you for the amazing season that you have given us, and it has been another excellent season to partner with you. So we're done here. So if you want to let our audience know what you have in plan for the off season, any specific training secrets that you want to share with the rest of all normal people here?
Yes, I do. I will share with you. I'd like to share one thing, and that one thing is I'm already preparing for 2016 now, and I want 2016 for me to be. I want to set new records. That's kind of my goal. All right, and what do I mean by new records? I'm not saying I want to go out and set new course records, but if that happens, okay, fine. But what I want and I'm looking for is new personal records in terms of my preparation. I want to set new records in the weight room, on the bike, on the run, in the water, combine them all together, and hopefully that's the best I can give as an athlete. So what I would encourage you to do out there is kind of look at yourself as an athlete and say, why can't you set your personal best now and work towards your new personal best? Whether that personal best is a strength to weight ratio, or it's your best mile time in training, or your best average power for a 20-minute main set, whatever it is. The list is endless. So go out, make a goal, and be your personal best. Go out and just put it on the line. And that's what I'm going to do next year. So join me in having 2016 be your best year ever.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right now.
Thank you so much, Andy. It's, as always, inspiring and a delight to talk to you. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in 2016.
All right, sounds great.
Bye.